Cheers to adulting.
Hola.
Hola.
My name is Ashley Borjas.
Y me llamo Abby Rosemarin.
Rosmarin.
Rosmarin.
Es cheers to adulting.
Hey, para adulting or something like that.
Oh, I just remembered that I bought silicone straws.
So we would make less noise.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. That's cool. It's
all
cool.
good.
It's cool.
We'll just be really careful with this shit, right?
I am several. Oh, fuck.
I get the feeling I might be the designated driver on this one, everybody.
It's a good thing that I'm at home. Home
Yeah.
base.
I ain't driving, or she ain't driving.
Several drinks in. It's my day off today. So I had like a short period where I like tapered off drinking so I could go to the store, go to Lowe's.
Like any responsible
like an
adult.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I have to stop drinking. I have to slow down because I have to leave and drive. Make a stop at Taco Bell.
Like any responsible adult.
I have to try a Dorito Loco for the first time of my life.
Those things are amazing. That's a rite of passage, everybody.
It was all right. I'm call me old fashioned, but I'm okay with the OG Taco Supreme.
She's a Taco Bell purist, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been drinking all day, but adulting at the same time.
Right? Drunken adulting,
Drunk
which
adulting,
sums up this
segues
podcast.
into some adulting for the day, for the week. Yeah. So Michael's always volunteering me. Well, granted, I do always ask him if I can help with the, renovation of the house, because he does everything. He pours all his whole body into the house, as well as his money into renovating the house and making it look really, really nice. And I always offer, and then once the summer hit, I think he forgot that I don't have time, freedom, any of that to contribute. And he'd be like, you know what you could do to help? And I don't want to say, yeah, but how?
Right. I'm working 60
How?
hours this week. Tell me where I'm going to fit that in.
Where? Because I work minimum 52 hours. And then generally, like on 1 or 2 of my days off, I'll go clean someone else's house or go babysit. So I don't have a lot of time. It'd be one thing if it was like starting my days really early, but I'm there from like 8:30 a.m., 9 a.m. to like 8 p.m. Oof. So I'm like, by the time I get home, it's about a 40 minute drive to get home. I'm like, okay, time to wind down, go to bed, whatever. Anyway, so he volunteered, suggested for me to repaint some of the trim because it kind of got stained when he was doing sealant or whatever. I don't know. So it looked orange around the bottom trim and the crown molding. And I did want to help. And so I said, you know what? Today's the day. That's what I'm going to do. Although I do have a lot of organizing and laundry that I need to do in my bedroom. That was something that needed to get done. It was adulting, but I really love painting. So it was a happy chore.
Well, there we go. A happy drunken chore, everybody.
A happy drunken chore. I had the L Word. I've been re-binging the L Word. I never finished it. I think I stopped at the second to last season. And there's a new season coming out. I really love the L Word. Although TMI, it's a little uncomfortable because... No, that's way too TMI.
Oh, no. Oh, if Ashley is censoring herself, you know it's bad.
Long and short of it is that if I'm wearing underwear, I probably would need to change underwear.
Oh, goodness.
The L Word's fucking sexy, okay?
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
What can I say? I like to watch girls get it on, and there's a lot of it going on.
I remember that.
There's a lot of titties.
That show, like, especially in the early 2000s, it made the fucking news because it's like, oh, wait a minute. Is this Skinamax? Like, what's going on?
I know. Even though I've been, like, re-binging it, I keep thinking, was this on Cinemax? But it wasn't.
No?
Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, so I put that on, and the thing is that even though it has a lot of those sexy moments, it has a lot of, like, real connections, like friendships and what have you, and certain if you haven't watched the L Word, no spoilers, there's a character that I really love, and she's just super sweet and just so innocent. She dies from breast cancer, and it hit home for me, and it's like, yeah. So that was like sad, and yeah, I was painting at the same time.
There we
Adulting!
go. Yay! Drunken, lesbian, sexy adulting.
Yeah, and one more bonus point of adulting.
Ooh.
For the past couple weeks. I can't remember if I told you guys. So I got a flat. What's this? Last week. A blowout, really.
Oof.
And I called Walmart because I had bought the last 2 tires that I got from there. And they said, oh, you got, because I thought, I feel like I bought tire insurance. And they said, you got tire insurance on one of your tires. So when I took it in, they had to look at the 2 tires that I bought to see which one. Fucking yes. Thank you, Jesus, baby, God. Goddess,
sleeping in the manger,
everything, golden fleece diaper, tree. The tire that blew out was the tire that had the insurance. Nice. I only had on one of them.
Oh,
and it was the second one, the latter of the 2 that I bought. And I was like, you know what? It's only $10. Why am I not?
Yeah.
Thank
God
God.
Bless.
God bless.
God bless. Goddess bless. Baby
Goddess
Jesus
bless.
bless.
You know, it's funny. I have a coworker who I see in the off season. And she always says, Lord willing. And I decided that when I see her again in the off season, that I'm going to say, Goddess willing.
I love it. Goddess bless everybody.
Goddess bless. So yeah, buy tire insurance.
If you learn nothing else from this fucking episode, buy tire insurance.
If it's only $10 or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, especially when a tire.
Fucking no.
Right, like especially since a tire is like what, $400 a pop, like more than that, depending on what type of make you have. Like those are some
and if
shit.
you're spending $400 a pop, buy it from buy it from Walmart.
Hey, there you go. Why not?
And they were on sale.
Ooh.
So I didn't remember if I had insurance. So I was planning to shell out like $120 for a tire.
Mm-hmm.
And once I found out it was covered, I was like, buy another one just in case. Because I have 2 tires that need to be replaced anyway because they have low tread. And they said it was on sale. So I was like, order me 3 motherfuckers if I'm only paying for 2.
There you go. That's what we call a bargain.
As fuck.
Right.
All right, what's your adulting?
I'd say my adulting is quite peachy, if you will. That was a pun, everybody. And for those who are only listening to the audio and didn't get to see,
for puns.
I live for fun. They are a pure joy. Like when I think of the pure joys in my life, it is like puns, more puns, and like kittens when they pull their face in with their paws when they sleep. Like I know, right? What a pure joy. And somehow puns trump that, and that's lowercase t trump, not uppercase t. Oh my. You know what? Maybe I am not the designated driver after all. So, for those who missed out on the visual, I just pulled up the drink that we're having, which is a peach Bellini, made with peaches from my own fucking house, motherfuckers. So I have a peach tree in my backyard that is hell-bent on getting itself killed. And I kid you not, like since we moved into the house, this poor tree, and I appreciate its ambition, I appreciate its hustle, but it always makes more fruit than it could fucking handle.
Sidebar.
Yes.
Is there a way to, I don't know, get a trimming from the peach tree so I could have the peach tree in my... I don't know how that works.
It potentially could do some grafting. Like tree grafting is a thing. You just take the little twigs and you put them onto another tree.
To
And
Google this.
this is some Googling, which we'll get into a little bit with our topic today. So that's some perfect segue.
I want a peach tree. I want all the fruit trees in my yard.
Right? Like I want all the fruit, kind of sort of live off the grid, only not really because it's just the fucking fruit. But this peach tree, for those who have been to my house, have seen this poor peach tree is just propped up with these little wooden crutches fucking everywhere because it's splitting in half. So it was splitting in half because there was just too many peaches on it. And this has been a problem every single year it's had fruit. But when you see the fruits of its labor, it's like, okay, no wonder
All right, Count Peach Sheila.
Count Pungula. Wait, what? For those who've seen, either been to my house recently or seen the pictures, this tree fucking delivered this year. Like, it covered my kitchen table completely, end to end, corner to corner.
I just have a dirty mind because you said completely.
And it covered my end. Corner to corner, baby. You know, just when I think I have the dirtiest, smuttiest mind in the world,
and then you remember me.
Yeah, honestly, I think half the reason why I am such close friends with you, because it's like, I need somebody who's even more perverted than me.
Yes, to make you feel clean.
Exactly.
And innocent.
I am like a virgin, everybody. Touched for the very first time. But so it completely filled up this kitchen table, and it completely filled up a card table that I had to take out from the basement. And I probably have like 500-600 peaches right now. It's fucking insane.
Oh, you said some people came over and took some.
Oh yeah, some people came over and took some. I basically posted on Facebook a nice little friend locked post because God help me if I made that public, that would have like weirdly gone viral, and then people would have showed up at my house like, "Where's the peaches?" And I'm like, no.
Where's the peaches?
Right? Like I got enough creepy dudes in my life going, "Where's the peaches?" Like I don't need that in my life. So, and amazingly, I had a bunch of friends being like, "Oh yeah, I can come over at this time. I can come over at that time." I'm like, "Hey, come on over. I am not going to finish all these peaches." Mm-hmm. And even then, it doesn't even look like anyone really took a dent into this peaches. And that's on top of me. And this is where the adulting comes in. I have been baking up a storm. I have been preparing these peaches. I have been getting ready for canning. I have just been going to town on these peaches because I'm like, you know what? This is mine. This is kind of sort of free. I want to say completely free, but it's not because I had to pay for the fucking wood. Everybody, wood. Sorry, if completely is going to be an innuendo, wood is going to be a fucking innuendo. All right, I don't give a shit.
Oh, you're like,
right? I'm getting sassy over here. I'm sassy about this right now. I'm sassy about my innuendos. That's exactly how it is when I get a massive hard on. I just put my hands on my hips. I'm like, I got wood.
I got wood.
And it helps my tree from splitting in half. Wait. So kind of sort of free, and I want to make sure I make the most of it because there have been some years that a lot of the peaches just went bad because I just couldn't keep up with it. And I have been like a motherfucking machine. I've been getting stuff done, and I've been keeping that kitchen clean because it is fucking difficult.
Have you been freezing a shit ton of peaches?
So I learned the hard way 2 years ago when we had 1 million peaches. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna peel these and slice them and freeze them for later. And then I waited a little too long, and a little too long was like 6 months. It wasn't that long.
I don't know. 6 months is kind of long.
6 months is okay. 6 months is long, but I had frozen them, and like I was burnt out at the end of peach season, and was like, okay, now it's like March. Let's take these out, and they were terrible. They did not last. No. Peaches are so delicate. That's the other thing too. It's not like I'm like have apples and fucking apples. Oh my god, like they just fucking last forever. Peaches, you look at them wrong and they bruise. It's fucking insane.
Oh, that's like me.
Oh, me too, everybody. Oh, they gave me the side eye. I'm gonna wilt now. Wonderful. They're just such a delicate fruit. I feel like that's also me, such a delicate fruit.
Yeah.
Both of us, we're just such delicate fruits, everybody.
For sure.
So I'd say my adulting has just been going to town, being like a proper small town New Hampshire girl picking her fruit,
I may
getting
have
some
to
wood.
have you meet up with the new shlicha for New Hampshire and
Ah.
have you give her some peaches.
I mean, I am being very altruistic with these peaches. Like everyone thinks I'm being just so giving. I'm like, have some peaches. I'm gonna like,
Peas are free.
I know. I'm like, I'm just being so giving. I had one friend who actually gave me like a couple of hard seltzers as a like, oh, that's just so sweet. I want to
For
give you
bartering?
something for bartering. I'm like, oh, that was just so nice of you. And I'm like, I'm literally trying to give these away. Like,
You're like, you're doing me a favor.
exactly. Like I kept some of the really good ones, so I'd make really good peach bellinis and give some wonderful peaches to Ashley. And wanted to make sure she got some of the good shit, because let's be real, especially when you're talking about the wild frontier of a peach tree that's in your backyard and not like at the grocery store, not all peaches are made equal. Some are fucking awesome, and some are these like baby ass dwarf, like, what happened to you? I'm sorry you didn't get enough sunlight. So, those have
What
been
did the world do to you?
exactly. And those have been the ones that I've been like, yeah, everybody, look at them front and center on my kitchenette. Like, let's pay attention to these ones. Pay no attention to the shoebox filled with the really good ones that I've kind of kept to the side for myself.
Shoebox.
I kid you not, I picked my peaches. Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I picked my peaches with a
A
shoebox.
fuzzy peach, or is it peeled?
Oh my. Well, I don't discriminate. If you want a fuzzy peach, have a fuzzy peach. If you want a
fuzzy
peeled
peach.
peach, have a peeled peach. There's no judgment here. YOLO, live and let live.
fuzzy, peeled, whatever. It's all the same.
Exactly. Like, what? Have fun. At the end of the day, a peach is going to taste like a peach.
Well, you say that. However,
We're going down the road, everybody.
I mean, when you have the unfortunate nature has put upon you endometriosis and you have very coarse hair
Yeah,
and you
that's...
decide to let it run free, it's
Then you're
exactly
exploring
as
in the
you
jungle.
imagine.
Yeah.
It's like going down on a bearded vagina.
That's,
A very rough 5 o'clock shadow sort of vagina.
Oh, and while I have not experienced that, I've definitely kissed men with that rough stuff.
Yeah,
and
imagine
that's
going
not
kiss, back
Oh.
and forth, back and forth.
no, like real talk. I have in the past made out with men who've had that, and I would get like a rash on my chin from it. I can't even fucking
a
imagine.
vagina of that.
No, I'm
what
just.
that's like.
You know what? Thanks, but no thanks. I think
Yeah.
I'm good on that one.
Yeah. No shame or anything.
No shame, but at the same time,
I've been there. It's uncomfortable.
at the same way, no shame to men who have the coarse hair and they let it go, kind of
It's,
scraggly. Like,
It's uncomfortable.
yeah, like no shame, but recognize what it's doing to our chins and our noses. I'm just saying.
I will go fund you for laser hair removal.
Oh,
So
snizzap.
that it's finer, softer.
Hey, anyway,
So into the
let's get into the crux of
back to school.
Back to school, everybody. This is our back to school episode.
Yeah, so a lot, it's funny because Mr. Question Mark said something about yesterday. I said, oh, so I'm off today. And he's like, oh, first day of school. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't have kids and I'm not in school, so I don't have to deal with that. He's like, oh, but it'll affect you somehow.
I
Which
guess
is
with
true.
traffic,
Traffic.
school buses, you don't like getting stuck behind those.
Traffic
like-
and, friends of mine very few friends of mine that happen to have kids, it affects them. And
Oh yeah. Oh, my Facebook has been flooded with the back to school photos.
flooded.
And it's a beautiful thing. Like, I'm not going to be one of those people being like, oh my God, fucking you're like, all these kids are up in my grill. Like, no, I think that's beautiful. You're so proud of your kids. They're in the
very-
second grade, the first grade.
It's crazy seeing like the moms that I'm friends with that I babysit for
Mm-hmm.
to be like, oh shit, they're in 5th grade now? Like, I've been babysitting you for decades. I am ancient.
Oh no, it's throwing my chi off hardcore. Like, there's these twins that were in my very first pre-K class back when I was a preschool teacher. And throwback, man, because I've not been a pre-K teacher. Well, haven't been a pre-K teacher in almost like 8+ years, and I haven't been in the ECE world, and that's early childhood education world, for about 5, maybe even 6 years at this point. And the dad posted recently, it's like first day of 8th grade, and I'm like, holy fucking shit! How did this happen? How did your children become 13-year-olds? How? I remember when they were 3. How did this happen? It's insane. And again, it's beautiful. I love that. It's like, I will never shit on that. But again, when you're an adult, especially an adult that is outside of college, you know, back to school has a completely different feel for it. For a lot of us, even if you are going back to school, you are going back to school probably part-time, probably at night. You're probably still working full-time. Mm-hmm. It's so different than when you're, you know, in 11th grade and you just went from the summer vacation to, oh, now we're going to go get back to school supplies and now we're going to go back to school. Or you're in college and you're moving into your dorm for the first time. It's so transformative. And then you hit a certain age and then it's like, oh, it's September, y'all. I gotta make sure I leave for work at a certain time because otherwise I'm gonna get stuck behind the bus, motherfuckers.
That reminds me, shout out Emily Race, one of my best friends in the whole world. She just started grad school.
That's right,
and
girl.
She made a Facebook post that was hilarious of one of those like first day of school posts. And she said, 12, 13, 16... She's like first day of 17th grade or something like that.
I love it.
She's starting freshman year of grad school.
That's beautiful. That's and big shout out to Emily. She was one of our guests way back in the day. Just wonderful
on
soul.
Mental health.
And
that was a great episode.
Exactly. And she tells
episode,
I know. And that was a really good one. And if you haven't checked that one out, I fucking recommend it. Because if there's anything, that we could spend a little more time on, a little more awareness on.
You know,
mental
it's
health.
funny because she was talking about how she was like, I really understand now. So she's, I don't want to say she's significantly older than me, but there was an age gap between me and her, as well as our other roommate, Katie, when we all lived together. And she was, I don't know, maybe she was like 22, 23. I would say maybe she was 22 when I lived with her, and I was like 26 or something. And I was like, oh, well, you're young or whatever. And she's very, very smart and has always been very mature, especially way more mature than her age group, no matter what she is, because she's had to, like, you know, be a fucking adult and make her own way. And she Marco Polo'd me. If you haven't used Marco Polo, highly recommend it. Not being endorsed for that, but
although if they want to endorse us, what's up?
Sure, it's fucking cool because I have a lot of friends that we're in different time zones, and you can basically video chat, but at different times. So I'll send a long video and be like, "Hey, how's it going? This is what's going on in my life," and then they'll 10 minutes later or 10 hours later, they'll send me another video and it'll be like I'm video chatting with them. Anyway, she said how she had such sympathy for us because she's like, how old is she now? Maybe she's 29, I guess, or something like that. And she said everyone's like wicked young because they're going straight from bachelor's into their grad.
So now you got some 23-year-olds.
Yeah, she's like, they're young and now I get it. She's like, they're annoying. Well, she was never annoying. But she's like, I get it because they, you know, you'd always say that I had years to live, you know, of experience and wisdom or whatever, and I didn't believe you, but now I get it.
Yeah. And let's be real, the 20s every year brings a completely different adventure. And it's actually one of those things when I'll hear people talk about like, oh, I'm 29 years old and I'm dating this person who's 19 years old. That's not weird. And I'm like, well, I guess in all 50 states it's legal, but the amount of life that has happened between that 19-year-old and 29-year-old is insane. And it really is the same case. Like, you know, you'd think 29 and like maybe 23, 24, well, whatever. That's like what, 6 years? Ooh, No, so
a
much
decade.
happens. Yeah, so much fucking happens in those 20 years, or those 20 years, oh my God. In those, like, you know, those years in your 20s.
Math is hard.
Math, you know what? Everyone who knows me personally knows how terrible math is for me.
Yeah.
And anyone who's ever, I feel like I've talked about this on the show about me and numbers. We're not buddies. We've never been friends. Like, at best, we can be civil acquaintances,
Yeah.
but that's really fucking it. But it really, it's kind of insane. But as I see it, life is kind of the great educator.
Yeah.
And just because back to school, maybe you hit a certain age and that's kind of it. Like, you're never really going to go back to school ever again. Maybe the best is classes start up on top of your full-time job, which most people I know who have that situation going on, like, they kind of fucking dread it. They're like, great, now I'm going to work 40 plus hours a week, get stressed out at my job, and then have to worry about my classes. People who have taken the grad school or even just getting their bachelor's while working full time are like, it's all the
Me.
worst. It's all the worst parts of college.
yeah.
It's none of the fun parts. But I'd say that it's perfectly okay, though, that, you know, you hit a certain age and then back to school just doesn't have the same flavor. That doesn't mean that you have to be completely done with learning.
yourself.
With
Yeah.
educating yourself. And in some ways, September can be a wonderful time for you to go, you know what? I'm gonna kick some butt with myself.
Or
Huh?
the beginning of pumpkin spice everything.
Oh, goodness. There's also, and you can educate yourself on the pumpkin spice everything.
It's just like embracing the beginning of fall. Like, it's so close. Like, the cool air. I didn't have this growing up because I'm from Texas, born and
Yeah.
raised. We didn't get this. I've been in New England for, 12 years or so?
About that.
And fall never gets old. The beginning of the air is crisp.
yeah.
Getting excited to be like, ooh, it's a little cold. I'm gonna put on a sweater.
Right? And you're starting to think about, like, Halloween
Sweater,
and, like,
waking up in the
bonfires
morning.
and,
lighting a fire in the yard.
Mhm.
Pumpkin spice, Halloween decorations.
Like,
are
I
no
grew up
longer
in this
obnoxious.
region, like, and it doesn't get old for me at all.
Yeah.
Like, 33, basically 33 summer or early falls, and it's just like, nope, I love this.
And it's like, you have spring cleaning, but I feel like there should be called fall cleaning. You
yeah,
know?
I'd say
It's
so.
like you're starting to organize, because you're like, oh, I need to go through my sweaters and start putting the summer clothes away. And that forces you to organize your
Yeah.
life, your wardrobe, and everything.
Exactly, which you can learn some fun ways of organizing. Like, so that's kind of the thing about the education of adulting is it doesn't have to be like, okay, nope, I gotta enroll in school, community college, bachelor's, master's, PhD. Like, no. It can just be, you know what? It's fall. I want to learn a new way of doing some shit that involves the fall. Because really, at the end of the day, it's a mindset. Education is a mindset. And I do want to quickly jump into some of the ways that we can kind of facilitate that. And there's, at the end of the day, a wonderful way to facilitate it is the internet. Like, we have so much at our fingertips, and it's not just episodes of the L Word.
The
Like,
interwebs.
the interwebs, everybody. With the Facebook and the YouTubes and
The
the Twitters and
YouTubes.
the... Which, actually, when it comes to, when I was researching for this, especially when I was trying to think of ways that we can kind of utilize the internet to learn shit, YouTube's actually on that list. When I think of the top 3 platforms when it comes to where we can learn some shit, we have YouTube, we have Udemy, and we have Coursera. Now, just kind of quickly going through those.
I think I'm signed up for Udemy or something.
Nice.
I have like that or something and or another thing that it'll tell me about courses that are free that I can. It's basically like when you sit on a class. What's that?
The auditing?
Yeah, it's like you're auditing classes.
Yes, which
Like a whole bunch of courses
which is pretty wonderful, and I'm actually going to completely
for
digress.
free $99.
Right? That's fucking
Free.
them free dollars,
$99.
kid.
Yeah.
your free fitty.
Fitty.
Now, why are you giving the Loch Ness Monster a little free fitty? I'm sorry for everybody who has never watched South Park and also those who have. But I'm going to digress actually from those three and mention that when it comes to auditing, a lot of universities and actually a lot of Ivy League universities, I know MIT and Harvard do this, and I know a lot others will do this as well. They will put their syllabus online. They will video lectures and put the lectures online, and you just go in and you can audit the course online and just learn some shit. And yeah, you won't get college credit for it, but if you're just learning to enrich your mind, like, hello, that's $4,000 worth of knowledge that you're getting for free 50 or free 99. Like, that's pretty fucking awesome.
Not to mention that, I mean, say you haven't had the opportunity or the finances to take classes for getting your bachelor's or your associates or whatever. If you get educated enough in one subject, I've taken a couple, I think I've taken 2 exams for it. It's called a CLEP exam, CLEP, where if you are educated enough in one course, you will get the course credit by taking this exam.
So it's almost kind of like the GED of college courses then.
Yeah,
like
you get a GED for one course. So it can be for sociology or math or science in certain subjects. So for your basic, gen ed courses.
I love that because, I mean, one of the things that has probably kept a lot of us from continuing ed has been the money part, at least for us in the States where, continuing education is fucking expensive.
Yeah. And they have those CLEP exam study guides you can buy it on like Amazon and shit like that. And it's pretty cheap. And it's basically
wonderful.
Buy that, study the shit out of it, maybe buy like a couple books to supplement it, and there you go.
It's pretty
That's
wonderful.
Your school,
right?
For the semester.
And honestly, that one of the things you will learn, especially those who have been listening to us and are still in school right now full time, haven't been out in the real world, when it comes to your education, I mean, honestly, that piece of paper is really just that. It's a fucking piece of paper. And here's something that it's a little pro tip that I got from somebody I knew who used to be a recruiter. So we'll see job requirements in certain jobs, and they'll say requires a bachelor's degree. And it's like this fucking entry level job. It's clerical or receptionist. And you're like, what the fuck? You need it's fucking terrible. Apparently, that's actually not a requirement. They just do that to weed out people. They don't want people who only had a high school diploma because they're assuming, oh, if you only had a high school diploma, then you've got this characteristic about you, you're this way and that way and so on and so forth, like very negative thinking. So they put that in there to weed it out. But if you can apply for that job and really just be like, you know what, here's my awesome qualities, blah, blah, blah. And yet like, yeah, here's my education, but we're not going to worry about that. We're going to put that at the bottom of the fucking resume. Here's all my awesome shit up the top. There's a chance that they might actually see you as a viable candidate. So that's something I learned from somebody who used to be a recruiter, is that sometimes that bachelor's requirement isn't really a requirement.
I should tell that to my mom.
There we go. And on top of that, those who get the job will learn that even if they're in the job of the education field of choice, 9.9 times out of 10, the shit that they learn and use for their job are things they learn on the job. They got sent out to a conference. They said, hey, I want you to take this course. Like these little things that are beyond your bachelor's or whatever degree you have, that you're learning basically on the clock. So that's really something to remember, is that like, yeah, sometimes we can get really kind of get our blinders on and be like, well, will we get our bachelor's out of this? Will we get our master's out of it? And unless you have a job where you know, are required by the state to have a certain level of education, like say licensed social worker. Hey, you have to have your master's in social work.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's no fucking way around that bitch. Unless you're in a situation like that, there's a really good chance that you could take some of these more alternative routes. And I also want to mention Coursera. So out of the three that I mentioned, Coursera is probably the most academic. That is the one where you're actually going to find, if they don't post it on their own website like MIT.edu or Harvard.edu, they might post it on Coursera. I remember taking an amazing class through Princeton called Buddhism and Modern Psychology. And it basically, I fucking would. And it was so wonderful too, because I had just become a yoga instructor and everything. And it was just so goddamn brilliant. And I couldn't believe that I was getting to do this for free. Again,
Buddhism and what?
so Buddhism and modern psychology. It was one of my favorite classes ever. You know, didn't get any college credit for it, but I loved it so much that I actually took the final exam just because I wanted to apply the knowledge.
Like my favorite part of, I loved college. I loved the classes that I took in my major. I hated the fucking work where I had to get graded on. It was fucking bullshit.
Because then you get stressed out and you're like,
Yeah, I get stressed out as fuck.
like, and you don't even want to take any risks. You're like, what is my way to get a guaranteed
Yeah.
A? It's fucking terrible. You don't really learn as a result. So it's nice to be able to take a class and be like, no, I'm taking it because I'm learning, and that's it. Coursera is wonderful like that, and most of the classes are free. Some of them, if you do want to get a certificate of completion, it's not usually college credit, but you'll get a certificate out of it. They usually charge a fee, so if you want to have that, there's, you know, that caveat. But if you just want to learn for the sake of learning, you know, a lot of the classes, it's just like, hey, sign up, we'll see you tomorrow or whatever. And then we get our wonderful Udemy or Udemy. I'm actually really not sure how it's pronounced.
I've heard Udemy is what I would say.
I feel like it is Udemy. And then I was talking with somebody who records classes and she called it Udemy. And I was like, oh, that would be actually really fucking clever if it's you to me. Oh my fucking God, Udemy.
Udemy.
And even though I still think it's Udemy, there's a part of me that was like, that's fucking, Udemy. And I think I actually pronounced it Udemy when I first started talking about it, because I think that's a really cool. So if you are, you know, part of Udemy or Udemy, let us know. Let us know how. Like, I recently learned that a road that I've been pronouncing one way was the wrong fucking road.
Oh, wait.
Like,
So you said recently you posted about
Tripoli/Tripoli.
Tripoli. Oh,
yeah.
so how's it pronounced?
It's Tripoli, but I was calling it Tripoli.
I thought it was because I pronounce it Tripoli.
And that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. But I saw it, and I've only ever read it. I never heard it. And I kind of gave it this like quasi-Italian
Well,
pronunciation.
I thought Tripoli, isn't that an Italian pronunciation, like Tripoli in Italy?
It might be. It's also how you pronounce it if Tripoli in Turkey. I looked this shit up because I was at the mountain peak and I was talking about.
Is there any other way to pronounce Tripoli?
Well, I mean, now
I
don't
thought
get
in
me wrong.
Italy you would say Tripoli.
You might say Tripoli, and I might just be remembering my Italian courses completely wrong. But when it came to a 3-syllable word that ended in an I always remembered that the emphasis on the right syllable was
the emphasis.
Now that is, I can't even remember what fucking movie that's from, but he goes like, I think you're using the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. I forget what movie that's from, but I remember that quote.
Go!
Access the window.
Okay, stop. Stop.
What?
It's assess the window, not ass is the window. You put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
No. Do you know? No? Yes?
Yeah.
What movie?
Oh, I don't know the movie.
You just remember the
Michael
quote.
Myers,
There,
yeah.
exactly. It was
What is
Michael
it?
Myers.
Oh,
I forget what movie though.
is it Austin Powers?
No.
No, it wasn't Austin Powers.
You
and,
sure?
and it wasn't The Love Guru, thank God. Or Cat in the Hat or any of those horrible shit shows.
Murder. My wife is an ex.
My wife is a
Axe murderer?
axe murderer or a serial killer or something like that.
Axe
But it's not one of
murderer.
those. It was a modern one, and it was like, but for some reason, I had remembered that when it comes,
Austin Powers.
you know what? I'm gonna look that shit up. and we'll post it on Facebook. Not now, but we'll post it after the episode goes live, and then
Yeah,
be like,
on
everybody
social medias,
on the social medias,
Instagram,
everybody, and the
Facebooks,
YouTubes,
the
and
YouTubes.
but that it was, you know, the second syllable is what you emphasize. So Tripoli or Napoli or, you know, whatever like that is. And so that's what I said it. And then at the top, the mountain peak, I was with another hiker, and, you know, you naturally talk with hikers.
Yeah.
And I
You
mentioned,
don't have a choice. If you're not a hiker and
Oh, yeah.
you're taking a hike, it doesn't matter who it is. When you cross paths with someone,
oh, you fucking
you
chat
say
it
hi.
up. Oh, yeah.
You say hello. It feels awkward. It's
Yeah.
also nice. I also really enjoy the fact that everyone
Yeah.
says hi to each other
It's a
as
friendly-
someone's coming down
yeah.
and you're going up. You say hi, good morning, how are
Exactly.
you, and then you pass by.
It's actually really beautiful. I love that.
It's nice.
The only time you don't see that is the heavily touristy trafficked trails. Like if you're going up like Mount Washington,
Non-frequent
like
hikers.
yeah, and then it's kind of like, and I'll be like, hey, and they'll be like, and I'm like, okay, fuck me then,
Fuck
I guess.
you, that yeah.
Right?
Fuck me. No, I'm fuck you.
Fuck me, fuck you. Now that is Austin Powers. You kiss your mother with that mouth? Anyway, this is really going off track. But I learned that it was Tripoli.
We'll be fucking fine.
But I digress. So Udemy or Udemy, whatever it is,
Courses.
yeah. So this is where you can fucking learn everything. Udemy is a mix. So you want to learn to play the guitar, you want to learn to code, you want to fix your leaky pipe, or maybe learn more about yoga. Like there's a course for that. And Udemy is a really cool site, but it operates kind of like Macy's. So. And this is going to sound really weird, but bear with me. So you know how Macy's always has like those amazing sales and like all of a sudden everything's like 50% off? But
You hear about ads for it all the time on
yeah.
other podcasts.
exactly. And you realize, you know what? I bet that sale price is the real price, and they just jack that shit up.
Yeah.
And honestly, and this is how you can tell Udemy is not sponsoring us, because I'm saying don't trust any of the full price courses. They will go on sale, and the sale price is the actual price.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, $25 so you can learn how to fucking code is awesome, or $5 so you can learn this new way of doing yoga is fucking awesome. I've used Udemy, and I've definitely taken like the $5 course to learn this new way of doing like vinyasa yoga as a teacher. It was fucking amazing. The original price was $85.
$85?
No, it fucking wasn't. Like that's
I'd
the
be
thing.
like, hell no.
Exactly. That was the jacked up price. So when it went on sale, it's like, oh my God, this $85
saving-
class.
yeah, for
no, you're fucking
$5.
not. Like, you're getting a $5 course for $5. Let's be real here. So that's my only.
That's generally how I buy alcohol. If I see that it originally, well, although I'm like 10, somewhere around $10 or something. But if it says that it was like double or triple the price, I'm like, well, I have to buy it now.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I fall for that too. I actually fell for one of those fake, like, we're closing out our store so everything's on clearance.
Yeah.
But the reality is that's the actual fucking price. And I kind of was kicking myself. I'm like, really? You fell for one of those? But I don't fucking care. Because it was like, oh, hey, these 25 in quotation dollar pair of socks are actually only $4.
At least Marshalls doesn't lie to us.
Exactly. Marshalls
and
never
TJ
lies to
Maxx.
us. They're like, hey, here's a fucking bargain. Here's the the
Was
MSRP.
originally $100, but you're getting it for $20.
Right? Like the MSRP, which means absolute bullshit. Yeah. But it's cool. It's all good because I'm still getting some bargain shit and I'm happy. And then the last one is YouTube. Now YouTube is just it's the YouTubes, everybody.
YouTubes.
That is the wild frontier, and that literally everything is on that. And I personally love YouTube for any of the small things.
That's how I learned how to fold a fucking fitted sheet. And
there we go.
I was able to teach Abby.
Exactly. And now I actually fucking know how to fold a fitted sheet. It doesn't look
Woo!
It still doesn't look as wonderful and neat as when Ashley does it, but at least I'm no longer doing the like, I'm trying my best and then I'm going to just roll into a burrito and hope for the best.
Yeah. You get it done though.
Exactly. You know, this is how my husband and I learned to do drywall for our basement. This is how we learned how to fix some weird shit with my car, because there was a period of time, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode, where I couldn't get the fucking key out of the ignition.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it was so stressful. I would start and stop my car like 15 goddamn times to get my fucking key out of the ignition. And the problem was it was a corroded sensor that was not telling the ignition, hey, your car is in park, you can let go of the key now. And how did we learn how to get that thing fixed? Fucking YouTube.
If Michael doesn't know how to do something for renovating in the house, YouTube.
Right? When I returned to the world of knitting and crocheting and I wanted to learn how to crochet because all my friends crocheted, yeah, fucking YouTube. Yep. Like what the fuck is a double stitch? What the fuck is a treble stitch? YouTube. So I can't speak enough praises to when it comes to YouTube. Like YouTube is, you know, it's got its stuff. You got to be careful because anybody can upload anything. So you got to make sure that you're, you know,
like us.
Exactly. You know, there's no barrier here. There's no gate to try to, you know,
anything we put out, you should believe.
Because it's quality.
Because it's YouTube.
And we're drunk.
And it's the internet.
Exactly. But for the most part, you're going to get a lot of professionals who just want to put something out there.
Quote, unquote, quote professionals,
unquote. But, you know, for the, like, I know a lot of companies, like a lot of like automotive companies that will say, hey, I'm going to put this tutorial up of this really small thing. And it's kind of like a way for them to build rapport. Yeah. And hopefully the local people will be like, oh, that's really awesome that they taught me how to do this small thing. I'm going to turn to them for the big thing. So that's, I mean, YouTube is amazing like that. Again, you do want to make sure that you're kind of vetting a little bit. Maybe, you know, make sure you watch the video in full before you start doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like you do not want to be like knee deep in your carburetor and be like, oh shit, this is full of bullshit. They don't know what they're talking about. That's a bad place to be. But...
Or doing safety things. Like I definitely went on YouTube. I was planning on going out climbing and setting up an anchor out where they don't have bolts in what's it called? It's by Nottingham. It's mostly
Pawtuckaway?
Pawtuckaway.
There we go.
Oh, because I was going to take you to Pawtuckaway.
And I used to trail run all the time in Pawtuckaway. It's a lovely little place.
Have, like, you have to set up like an anchor on a tree, and I never personally done that. So I was like, I can fucking YouTube this. I know enough about rope tying and stuff, but it's just like, if you don't, it's not. And I told a friend of mine that I got rope from, static rope, so I could set up an anchor, and he was like, how about when you go, you bring me? I want to make sure you're good. It's just like, you can only trust YouTube so far. I would have felt safe, but it's like I knew I was definitely towing the line with safety.
Oh yeah, and that's just something to remember because you're going to get some people who really are like, oh, I am so the professional right now, but really they just want to feel important, and maybe they're not the professional or the experienced veteran that they're making themselves out to be. Mm-hmm. But if you can sort through, YouTube is a fucking treasure trove. You can learn literally everything. Or, you know what? Maybe you don't want to learn everything. There are some amazing YouTube channels that are just about like things like history, biographies, you know, like, hey, here's some cool shit about science. And again, you have to...
Science, bitch!
Yeah, science, bitch. And again, you do have to vet because every once in a while they'll be like, hey, here's this thing. And then you have to take a step back and go, wait a minute. Like even TED Talks, there have been some really fucking cool TED Talks that afterwards they've had to recant what they said because the study wasn't as sound or exactly. There's actually a really famous one that was about addiction and integration with society. And it sounded fucking awesome. And the guy actually had to recant it recently because he was like, yeah, you know what? It was based on faulty evidence. moments, because there was this whole thing about, the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection, and it kind of downplayed the more medical side of addiction and made it sound like, oh, you just need to have lots of friends and then you'll be fine. And it was like, all right, gotta take that one back. But still, it's a treasure trove. And that's really it. Those are the trifecta: YouTube, Udemy or Udemy, and Coursera or Coursera. Fuck it.
Coursera.
Exactly. Coursera.
So if you want to go back to school without going back to school,
you can fucking do it.
Go back to school.
Exactly. And that's really if there's any lesson here, I would say that back to school is a mindset. You don't have to go to, fucking Staples and buy 3-ring binders and new notebooks.
Unless you want to.
I mean, because that fucking is amazing sometimes. Like, there's sometimes I'll walk into Staples, especially during September, or August.
And everything's
I'm
like 20%, 50% off.
And you just get that back to school fever. And you're like, yes,
You're like,
I will
but
buy
yeah,
these colored pencils.
I do need this fucking lunchbox that's
Right.
dinosaurs. Don't tell me otherwise.
Right?
Don't at me.
It's back to school
want
in
it.
my heart. But yeah, I'd say that is the gist of our back to school
Adult the
episode.
fuck out of your life.
Right? Adult the fuck out of your brain.
Yo brain.
Right?
You can keep learning. You ain't old.
Right? And
You
the
ain't
second
old
you
till you dead.
Exactly. And once you stop learning, that's when you start getting older. Whatever that self-help thing says.
I love your
Anyway,
attempt at being ghetto like me.
that's you know what? I'm too white for that shit. Let's be real here. I'm too Irish.
I'm ghetto enough for the both of us.
There we go. But yes, so as always, you can follow us on all the social medias.
So schmade.
We have our Instagram
Cheers to adulting.
podcasts.
Nope.
No?
That's it. That's Twitter, right?
No, that's
and
Instagram, because
Cheers
somebody
to
took
Adulting
Cheers.
podcast.
And then we have Twitter, which is Cheers, number 2 adulting.
adulting.
We have Facebook, which is just Cheers,
Cheers
to
to
adulting. Our defunct website, which someday we're going to get back off the ground.
Cheers to adulting at Gmail. No, that's
doc-
cheerstoadulting.com.
But then if you want to email us and tell us, hey, bitches, you are some hot messes, like we are in this episode, it's cheerstoadulting@gmail.com. So yes, I think that would be a wrap. So
Cheers.
cheers to adulting.
Adulting. I enjoy it.
Cheers to adulting.